Good afternoon, everyone. This is Ron Tyler with the Emergency Management Associates, coming to you live from the Crossroads of the West in Salt Lake City, Utah. I wanted to try to do this, come on just a little bit early, a lot early actually, 5 hours early, 4.5 hours early, and see if we could bring this program to you. We have a lot of information that we want to share with you, and I frankly am getting tired of YouTube, or not YouTube, but tired of Zoom not being able to carry our program because there are too many people on the air. Well, just guess what? I just monopolized somebody else's possibility this afternoon. I'm hoping I don't interrupt anybody on the Freedom Revolution Network, but I wanted to bring this information to you. We have a lot of information, actually. One of the things we wanted to talk to you about today are earthquakes. Of course, that is one of the primary things on everybody's mind. What is going on with the earthquakes? I wanted to show you a little bit of what's happening. I'm going to show you the earthquake map that USGS has so kindly given everybody a chance to look at. Over in the Intermountain West, let's look up here at Idaho first, okay? If it will let me enlarge this map for you. Okay, this is Idaho, of course. Right here, we have a bunch of earthquakes here. Let me enlarge it just one more time here. I hope it'll let me. Okay, we have a lot of earthquakes here. Again, this was a 6.5 magnitude quake that happened on March 31st, 10 days ago. 10 days ago over in the Challis, Idaho area, 44 miles west of Challis, Idaho. This is the westernmost point of the Yellowstone magma chambers we have explained before. It is still having a lot of aftershocks. And we had one of our friends that pointed out that there was even an aftershock today over in Rexburg, Idaho. That earthquake, by the way, is part of this earthquake sequence, this aftershock sequence. Anybody that knows anything about Yellowstone, anything that knows anybody that knows what is going on over here in Idaho knows that the aftershocks will expand out. And in this case, because it was such a large earthquake, the aftershocks is going to expand out some. Now, Rexburg, in all actuality, is over on the south side of the park, Yellowstone National Park, and it is also in the Yellowstone magma chamber area. But Rexburg, everybody thinks, oh, it's a pretty good city, and no, it's not part. Yes, it is. If you go just north of there, you go up into what they call Island Park, Idaho. And then you go up into West Yellowstone, Wyoming and Montana area, okay? That's how that is. And Rexburg is just south of Island Park, just south of Yellowstone. any earthquakes that happen today over in Rexburg, Idaho, are part of the Yellowstone magma chamber. Now, the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory people may deny it, and they can deny it until the cows come home. But the fact of the matter is, they know it's true. They may want to deny it. They can't. They can't. What is true, and it stays true 100% of the time. So there's that today. We also had an earthquake over here in central Utah again, Hilldale, Utah, 2.8 magnitude quake there. We also had earthquakes here in Salt Lake City, and I'm going to show you those in just a shake here. Now, I don't know why that USGS is hiding earthquakes. They reported this 2.8 in Hilldale, Utah, but they're failing to report earthquakes in Salt Lake City. There's no reason for it. There's no reason for it. Here, folks, are earthquakes in Salt Lake City. This earthquake right here is where the epicenter of the 5.7 magnitude quake hit. That's the epicenter. Today, this earthquake was a magnitude 0.82. In fact, there's two earthquakes right there, 0.82 and also a 1.63. 1.63. Yeah, I mistakenly pointed at this. It's right here. Here's the Great Salt Lake. Okay, here's the Great Salt Lake, and here's those two earthquakes right at the epicenter, a 1.63 and also a 0.82. On the western side of that, those two earthquakes right there, we have a 0.53. Going north, we have a 0.76. Okay, and we have a 0.73. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom in here and show you where these earthquakes are, because these are actually northwest of Salt Lake City. This earthquake is right next to an industrial area of North Salt Lake. Okay, that's where that is. This earthquake is directly south of there, also in an industrial area. A fairly unoccupied area, but we see a couple buildings right here. But you can see it's in the industrial area, folks, and it's right next to a major highway, Interstate 80. It's just north of Interstate 80 there. So we have earthquakes, and they continue to hit. But again, the powers that be don't want anybody to know about the Salt Lake earthquakes, do they? They didn't put them on the map. Didn't put them on the map at all. I want to show you, before I go into California, I want to show you the earthquakes up in the Pacific Northwest first. Okay, Duval, Washington is 0.8 today. 0.8. Going south, Eatonville, Washington, west of Mount Rainier, we have a 1.32 today. South of there, just northwest of Mount St. Helens, Morton, Washington, is 0.10. Okay, we have no earthquakes right at Mount St. Helens or Mount Rainier or any of the other volcanoes today, but that's what that is. Now, if we go east from Mount St. Helens, Desert Air, Washington is 0.49 today. 0.49. Okay. We told you about the earthquakes up in Challis, Idaho. Okay, just a minute ago we had them on the USGS map. This is the EMSC satellite map. Okay, it's just like Google Earth. In fact, it probably is Google Earth. We had a 2.50 on the north, which is a minor quake up on the north side. 2.50, 2.70, 2.50, and I'm just poking here. I'm not showing you every quake. 2.50, 1.69, minor quake. 2.80, another 2.80. We go west, a 2.50, and one more that I'm going to show you here, right next to that, a 2.60, Lowman, Idaho. Okay, that's what those earthquakes look like over in the Challis, Idaho area. I'm going to go over to Yellowstone here. We have several earthquakes to talk about in West Yellowstone today. Okay, first off, in West Yellowstone, 11 miles east-northeast of West Yellowstone, we have a minus 0.68, which means above sea level, minus 0.68. Then directly west of there, and this is actually in Yellowstone, 0.61 and a 0.23. This is in West Yellowstone itself. I'm going to zoom in and show you the location of both of these earthquakes. One earthquake appears to be in a small wooded area. Okay, appears to be in a small wooded area. And I'll zoom back out. Now I showed you it zoomed in. It's in a small wooded area there in West Yellowstone. Looks like we have some trails in there. We also have some downed trees. I'm not sure whether you can see that here. Let me see if I can zoom in and show you some of the downed trees here. There you go, you can see it there. This probably due to gases, escaping gases from the volcano. And here's a few more. The other earthquake was south and west of there. And this is in a more wooded area, as you can tell. Quite a bit more wooded area. But I'm going to zoom in and I want you to see what I see here. Okay. Again, we have a lot of downed trees in this area. A lot of downed trees. Again, gases escaping from the volcano. Now, not all of those trees are down, but there's a significant number of trees that are down, and we've had an earthquake, probably caused by magma in the area. This is what the area looks like from above, looking south of those two earthquakes. We have a huge open area there, void of trees. And we have no down trees in that area. Okay, no trees at all in that area. I'm kind of looking to see if we have any geysers, because these earthquakes are right there in West Yellowstone. And I was hoping we could find some geysers here to look at. And I can't find the geysers right now. I want to see if I can find the Norris Geyser Basin there. No, I'm just not seeing it. I found the airport. Found the Yellowstone Airport. I've been there once or twice. We have Yellowstone Lake here. I just don't see those quakes in that area, or those geysers in the area too. All right, let's go look at the other quakes, because there are a couple other quakes that I wanted to point out today. Now, south of these, okay, we pointed out these earthquakes up here. Let's go down here and look at these two quakes here. They're fairly close together. This is in Victor, Idaho. 1.23 earthquake. Now, we haven't had any earthquakes in Victor in quite some time, but a 1.23 in Victor, and also just west of there, southwest of there, a 2.02, also in Victor, Idaho. Okay, then we go south a bit of a distance down to Soda Springs, Idaho. This is a 2.03 earthquake. This is also in the southern area of the Yellowstone magma chamber. The southern area of the Yellowstone magma chamber. You see the two earthquakes in Yellowstone, Victor, and then Soda Springs. Soda Springs is south of Pocatello, Idaho. Just so you can put that together. It's a little bit of a distance there. And again, then we come down to Salt Lake City, and we can see the earthquakes there. We have a couple earthquakes over in east central Utah. East Carbon City, we have quite a few quakes. 1.97, we're going west to east here. 1.97, 1.63, 1.50, 1.80, 1.61, and then a 1.58. We have a series of earthquakes, and they're pretty much lined up. They're all lined up going west to east here. Okay, now there's oil and gas production going on down there. Let me see if I can locate a oil and gas pumping station. I've been able to find them in the past around some of those quakes. Okay, I've taken a look at a couple here. No, I can't find, I'm not finding any of the oil and gas pumping operations that I normally see around East Carbon City, Utah. Not at least for these quakes. I'm not finding them for these quakes. So these may not be related to the oil and gas pumping operation around East Carbon City, but they do have oil and gas pumping operations. I've showed them here on this channel before. I'm just not seeing any in that area right there now. But just to give you a heads up, south, central east Utah, we had them in East Carbon City. Then going south, Beaver, Utah, along Interstate 15, is 0.23 in Beaver. Going west, Milford, Utah, minus 0.11. That's up in the hillside up there. Now, Milford, Utah is a volcanic area. Okay, you can see the lava, excuse me, you can see the lava beds there. Okay, and then the earthquake was just north of the lava beds. This is a volcanic earthquake here in Milford, Utah. Then we go southeast to Panguitch, also along Interstate 15 in central Utah. Panguitch got hit today, and it was a 1.05 minor earthquake today in Panguitch, Utah. So Utah's gotten hit. Then we go south of there in Hilldale, Utah, a 1.70. Okay, this is the most earthquakes I've seen in Utah in quite some time. We've got 2, 4, 6, 14 earthquakes in and around, actually more than that. There's probably close to 20 earthquakes, a total of 20 earthquakes in Utah today. Very interesting here. Okay, there have been seven large earthquakes throughout the world today. I'm going to take you down to the South Pacific, over near the Kermadec Islands, Raoul Island in just north of New Zealand, a 5.0 magnitude quake today, Raoul Island, north of New Zealand. And you can see more earthquakes down here in the Kermadecs and going right into the North Island of New Zealand. And then we even have a few more earthquakes over here on the South Island of New Zealand. This last one down here being in Southland National Park in New Zealand, where it was a 2.57 magnitude quake there. But again, we had that 5.0 up here at Raoul Island, up in New Zealand. We've had, and now I'm not seeing it. That's really weird. Let me pull this up here. Here it is. We had a 5.4 in the Indian Ocean. We had a 5.4 in the Indian Ocean today. This one is on a ridge, the Chagos Archipelago region, a 5.4 earthquake south of India in the Indian Ocean. Okay, there's that. We've also had several other earthquakes over in and around South America. So let's go over there. Just west, probably 1,500 miles west of southern Chile, over in the area of Easter Island. We had a 5.0 magnitude quake near Easter Island this morning. This happened at about 4:59 a.m. Mountain Time. Now let's go up to northern Chile, over by San Antonio de los Cobres, at the Chilean Argentine border. We had another large earthquake there. This was a 5.0 magnitude earthquake in the mountainous region near the Chilean Argentine border here, near San Antonio de los Cobres. Okay, that's what that is, 45 miles west of San Antonio de los Cobres. Then up north, northern Chile, right at the Chilean-Peru border, just south of Pacna, Peru. We had a 5.1 magnitude earthquake today. 5.1 magnitude earthquake near Pacna, Peru, just south of Peru. I wanted to tell you first about a large earthquake up in the North Mid-Atlantic region. Okay, this is on the North Mid-Atlantic Fault, right dead center in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean between the United States and Africa today. 5.0 there. Over at the region just north of there, where it splits out, where the earthquake faults split off and go towards Portugal, we had a 3.5, also right dead center in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean on the North Mid-Atlantic Fault. North Mid-Atlantic Fault today. Okay, those are the large earthquakes. We've had many 4.7s, 4.9s throughout the region. You can tell where we've had earthquakes hitting all over the place. Now, I'm going to take you up to Russia, just south of Russia, Kamchatka, Russian, in the Kuril Islands. We've had a 4.7 magnitude earthquake just south of the Kamchatka Peninsula there in Russia. 4.7, the Kuril Islands. Let's go over to the Aleutian Islands here. Amitinak Island, we continue to hear about the earthquakes near Amitinak Island. Today we have another 3.9 magnitude earthquake there. Then we go east. We have 3 earthquakes out there near Amukta, Amutech Island, 3.6, 3.9, and a 4.1. 3 earthquakes, 3.6, 3.9, and a 4.1 right there in the eastern Aleutian Island chain. Okay, let's go up to near Mount Redoubt. We have no earthquakes near Mount Redoubt. The nearest one is a 2.20 just east and north of Mount Redoubt. Nothing at Mount Redoubt today at all. We have nothing over at Mount McKinley, but look at all the earthquakes around Denali National Park there. There's a ton of them. There's a ton of them. And they go up into central Alaska. Central Alaska. Then today up at Katavik, Alaska, folks, we had a 1.20 up at the north shore of Alaska, the Alaska oil and gas pumping operation up there, okay? 1.20 there. So that's what happened in Alaska. There's a lot of earthquakes up there. We have probably, I would say, close to 40 earthquakes in Alaska. Also in Kobuk, I just thought of this too. In Kobuk, Alaska, northwestern Alaska, we have a 0.6 magnitude earthquake. This is in that same area of Kobuk, Alaska, where we had a 6.3 a year ago. Okay, so that's what's going on there. Let's go down to California. We want to go down to California really quick. Northeast of Petrolia and northeast of the Gorda Escarpment, Hay Fork, California was hit with an earthquake today. This was a 1.89 magnitude earthquake at Hay Fork, California. Hay Fork, California. That was north and east there. It has nothing to do with the Mendocino Ridge. However, it has everything to do with California. That area gets hit, and that's Hay Fork has gotten hit many times in the past months. Going over to Northern California along the Nevada border, Portola, California had a 0.00, didn't even register. It was a light shaking there. Downeyville, California, 0.5. minor quakes, just north of Lake Tahoe, Truckee, California, is 0.1. Over on the eastern side, Carson City, 0.80. That's an aftershock of that 5.1 that hit Carson City just 2 weeks ago. Carson City was hit. They go south to Hawthorne, Nevada. We see earthquakes coming down, and I'll bet you guys know what this is here. Let's go down there. So Hawthorne had it 1.2. Down here, Mammoth Lakes. Mammoth Lakes has gotten hit, folks. Mammoth Lakes has gotten hit. We have a minus 0.01, 0.64, 1.86, 1.06. Round Valley. Now, Round Valley is a volcano, folks. That's just south of Mammoth Mountain. I'm going to get really in here close. Round Valley, California, 1.06. This is a volcanic area as well. Round Valley, California. There it is right there. Okay, Round Valley, California. All right, so that was Mammoth and Round Valley. Okay. We have an earthquake that hit west of Mammoth, Boot Jack, California, 1.95, just west of Mammoth. Then going over to the San Andreas Fault, just north of San Francisco, Fremont, California, 1.88, and Sunol, California, 0.79. Now let's go over to just east of the Monterey Bay. Gilroy, California, 1.38. San Juan Bautista, California, has got a 1.67, just east of Monterey Bay. Dropping down on the fault, San Andreas Fault, the Pinnacles, 1.80 and a 1.47. The Pinnacles is an oil and gas pumping operation, and it has volcanic activity there at the Pinnacles. Okay, let's go south. We have activity down there. Searles Valley. You see the earthquakes there? We have quite a number of earthquakes there. Going over to Cozo Junction, 0.81, and several other earthquakes over there in Cozo. 0.56, 0.87, 1.00. Several earthquakes in Cozo. Going down to Little Lake, California, we still have quite a number of earthquakes in Little Lake. We proceed even further south, Little Lake, California. We still have swarms going on, Little Lake. Not a ton, not a huge swarm, but enough. Ridgecrest, California, 0.49. Let me bring the light down just a little bit so you can see this better. 0.49 in Ridgecrest. Okay. Now, what has happened here in the Mojave Desert? We pointed this out in past broadcasts. We have activity at Anza Gap, north rivers around Riverside County area and south over into San Diego County. That's why all these earthquakes have calmed down around Ridgecrest, Searles Valley area. Okay, they're starting to pick up more and more, and I showed you this now. We have a little bit more swarming going on up here in the Mojave Desert. It's picking up again. However, it's also still rolling down here in the Anza Gap area, Riverside, California, North San Diego County, Northeast San Diego County. We still have earthquakes at Cabazon, Calamasa, over at Loma Linda, Glen Avon area, where we had earthquakes last year that caused that ridge crest. Idlewild, just north of the Anza Gap. Well, Idlewild is in the Anza Gap, but it's north of San Diego County. Idlewild, California was hit by an earthquake today too. Actually several, 1.46, 0.21, and a 1.14. Idlewild, California. Then we get into the Anza Gap area where we're seeing a large swarm of earthquakes today. It says 50 plus we have a bunch of earthquakes around it. Okay, you can tell what happens. I've hit that 50 several times and it just spread out. Okay, there's still earthquakes going on down there. Northeast San Diego County in what they call the Anza Borrego Desert State Park, northeast San Diego County, Anza Borrego State Park. It's at the top of the Chocolate Mountains, northeast of San Diego City. Warner Springs, as we drop down towards San Diego, Warner Springs here got hit at 2.0. Going over here to Lake Henshaw again, we had a 0.69 and a 0.93. Lake Henshaw being my fishing spot just east of Escondido, California. We go and drop down Ocotillo Wells as we get over closer to the Salton Sea. Ocotillo Wells has gotten hit today, 1.29. Ocotillo, California itself, 1.41. Now let's go over to the Salton Sea. What do we have at the Salton Sea? Salton City, a 1.31 on the west side of the Salton Sea. 1.31. Going over into the desert area, residential type in Imperial Valley south of the Salton Sea, Westmoreland, California, a 1.18 today. This is called Imperial Valley. This whole area is the Imperial Valley. But right here in the residential area, Westmoreland, California, was hit by a 1.18. And actually, this is hit, wasn't either in residential, this hit out in the farming community of Westmoreland. They have huge farms out there raising lettuce and tomatoes and potatoes. I don't remember everything that's out there. I know there's a huge fields of lettuce all over Imperial Valley. But this earthquake hit not in the residential, but in the farming fields south of the Salton Sea today. But that's what hit there. I'm briefly going to go over to Oklahoma, where we've seen a series of earthquakes. Over in Alva, Oklahoma, 1.88 today. Let's drop down south. Okeen, Oklahoma, a 2.29. Going north and east, a 1.40 in Enid, Oklahoma. Again, east and a little south, Perry, Oklahoma, a 1.45. Then we're going to drop a little bit south here. We're going down to Minco, Oklahoma, a 1.76, Minco, Oklahoma. Then we'll go straight east over here and see what we have. Again, Salina, Oklahoma, a 1.86, Salina, Oklahoma, 1.86 right there. Okay, that's Oklahoma. It's an oil and gas pumping region. Now, this earthquake is up in Pennsylvania. We have an earthquake up in Pennsylvania, the northern part of the North American Craton. This is in Wyomissing, Pennsylvania. This is a 1.30 earthquake. Wyomissing, W-Y-O-M-I-S-S-I-N-G, Wyomissing, Pennsylvania today. Okay, now you can see the craton. Okay, I'm backed out a little bit here, but you can actually see the eastern edge of the North American craton coming up here. This is on the northern part of the craton. You can see it here. I've shown you a picture of the eastern edge of the North American craton, and now you can visually see it. This earthquake hit in Wyomissing, Pennsylvania today. And this was again a 1.30 earthquake there in Pennsylvania. Now, we haven't had any more earthquake activity up here in the northern part of Canada. Nothing there at all today. It's been quiet there. We've had some activity over here in Europe. Up here in Europe, we've had an earthquake in Poland of 3.50. Up here in Poland, 3.50. South of there, over in Croatia, we have a 3.3 and a 1.6 in Croatia. Going over into the Swiss-German border area in what they call Ratshausen, a 2.40. Just south of there, a 1.9 in Hutzel, Switzerland, 1.9. South of there, we have three quakes. Dahlen, Switzerland, a 0.3. 1.2 in Villingen, Switzerland, and a 0.5 in Aosta, Italy. Okay, Aosta, Italy there. So Switzerland and Italy got hit right at the Italian border there. Over in the Western Med, we have a 3.0 today in the Western Mediterranean. Let's see what we got here. Going over to Spain, eastern Spain here, we have a series of earthquakes, 2.6, 1.6, 1.5, and a 1.7. So 2.6 and a bunch of ones there in eastern Spain. We go down here to the south of Spain. We have a 1.8 at Albora Norte, a 1.8 in the western part of Spain. Then let's go over here. Let's go over here to the eastern part, Portugal, a 1.8 and a 2.2 in Portugal today. All right, so we've had some activity there. We had activity over in Turkey. We had some activity still in Greece, not a lot going on. It's a bunch of ones in Greece today. Turkey, Western Turkey, just a few earthquakes here, 3.0, 2.5, 3.2 down here in the Dokanese Islands, just next to Turkey. Dokanese Islands belonging to Greece. And then over here into Iran, we've had a few earthquakes. 3.7 in eastern Iraq, 2.5 also in eastern Iraq. And then up along the craton near Russia, a 2.9 just south of the Caspian Sea, 2.9 and a 2.5. 2.9 or 2.5 just here at the Caspian Sea. We drop down into Iran, we have a 2.6 there. Going up here into northeastern there, Tajikistan, we have a 4.3 and a 4.5 there. 4.3 and 4.5 in Tajikistan today. Okay, northern India, we have a 2.4. But that's pretty much what's going on. We have some small quakes here in the Java, Indonesia area. 2.5s, 2.9s, 3.4s, 2.7, 3.3s, just small earthquakes throughout Java. Central Indonesia, the same thing in here. It's been fairly quiet. Nothing major happened here in central Indonesia, and up here into the Philippines. Had quite a few quakes, but other than that, it's just small quakes here. Small quakes here. 3.2. Well, there's one 4.0. I'm sorry, the 4.1 in the Molucca Sea. 4.1 there in the Molucca Sea. Like I said, the rest of these 3.4s, 2.6s, etc. It's fairly quiet there in the Western Pacific Ocean. Western Pacific Ocean. I just want to touch on Italy, or excuse me, Hawaii. Touch on Hawaii. Down here in Pahala, we still have a swarm of earthquakes here in Pahala. All of these earthquakes have to do with the infilling at Kilauea. Infilling at Kilauea. Here in Pahala, we have 2.06, 2.3s, 1.83s, 1.72, 1.84, just barely off the coast. Here's a 1.8 near Pahala there. 1.8 here, just right on the coast shoreline there. Okay, then we go up towards Kilauea. South of Kilauea, we have a 1.64. Kilauea is up here, a 1.64 there. Okay, then we go north of Kilauea, northeast of Kilauea in 2.4 Fern Forest. Okay, Fern Acres, they're in the East Rift Zone. All those fissures that opened up when Kilauea emptied out. Over in also in Fern Acres, a 1.79. 1.79 there. That's what's happened. We have no earthquakes around Mauna Kea or Mauna Loa. It's quiet there. They're all over on the eastern side of the island of the big island of Hawaii. So that's the report. We've made a very quick tour around the United States and throughout the world. I'm sorry it was that quick. I believe we have our librarian coming on very shortly. So we want to get off her here and give her the air. But we had a chance to tell you what's going on the Freedom Revolution Network. We haven't been able to get on in the evenings because of the high volume on the Zoom network channel here on the Freedom Revolution Network. But we finally got here to give you a program that we haven't been able to give you in quite, well, several days now. Several days it's been. But we finally got here. It's all, you can also find us over on the Freedom Revolution Network YouTube channel. Let's just briefly go over there real quick. Let me bring that up. Say hello to everybody in the chat room. And I see that the president is on the air right now, and I'm going to get off and go watch the president and see what the president has to say. I believe he just barely came on. He usually comes on about 3:30 Mountain Time here. Okay, hello everybody. Robin's here, Nora's here, Terry's here. Yay, we've got some people here. I was kind of worried about who we might be able to get. TLO is here. Enlightened Truth Seekers here. Thank you for being here, guys. Virtual hugs. Oh yeah, I love virtual hugs. I'll take that. Linda's Happiness is here. Finally got on the chat. That's awesome. You've been trying since you first started. Yes, that's great. I'm so glad that you got in here. Sakurako Roquette's here. Thank you. It's good to see you. Angelia Nieberg, my friend. I haven't seen you in a while. It's good to see you here. I'm going to try to come back over on the YouTube channel tonight, but I wanted to get here on the Freedom Revolution Network. How big was the Rexburg quake? It was a 2.5 in Rexburg. 2.5 in Rexburg. Scott Kitchell's here. Have you tried switching your search parameters on USGS to all earthquakes, not just 2.5 and above? Yes, I have, and they still don't show them. I wish they did. They still won't show them. I've been doing this for a long time. I can have 2.5 and above. They still won't show the 2.5s. They showed two earthquakes, two lousy earthquakes that were 2.5 and above. You know, it's almost ridiculous. They didn't even show the earthquakes in Salt Lake. You know, it's almost stupid. Wandering American, you're here too. Awesome. Linda Moses. Connie's here. Awesome. Yes, please thumbs up the program, folks. More thumbs up we get, the better off we all are. We have 24 people watching and 29 thumbs up. I almost believe there are people lurking here that can raise that thumbs up even higher. Now we have 30. Folks, let's get that thumbs up a lot higher than it is. The more thumbs up we get, the better off the Freedom Revolution Network will be here on YouTube, and our program will get more and more hits as we go along, and because people will be able to see the program. Okay, I have 23 watching on the chat, and now we've got 32 people that have given us thumbs up. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate it. Anyway, folks, Liberty Librarian, I believe, is coming on. We're going to get out of here and let her have the channel. We hope you have a great night and a better tomorrow. If anything else happens, we'll be back here to bring it to you live from the Freedom Revolution Network, Emergency Management Associates here. This is Ron Tyler. Hope you have a wonderful day. God bless. Do know that we love you. And as Walter Cronkite would say, that's the way it is. Thursday, April 9th, 2020. For Emergency Management Associates, this is Ron Tyler. Take it easy, folks. See you later, folks. God bless.